What is going on, YouTube? So it's been about a week since I've posted my last video, and a lot has changed in the past week. Mainly, I have finally hit my first goal. My first goal when I first started losing weight about 5 months ago, in the beginning of January 3rd or 2nd, I can't remember what I said. It was those days, one of those days, was to lose 50 pounds, to get essentially under 300. So I have been heavier for the majority of my life. When I was younger, not so much, because I was involved in just about every single sport that you could imagine, you know, football, basketball, soccer, hockey, baseball, lacrosse, you name it. So I was very active. I'm not really a firm believer in blaming genetics for it, but that could have a play. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but when I stopped being so active is when I started to gain on my weight. Although, like I had mentioned previously, I've weightlifted in and out the majority of my teenage to adult life. And I think that that's been a big factor with the way that I have kind of transformed my body so far. Like you all know, I started at 344.8 pounds back in January, in the beginning of the month, and since then I had started the ketogenic diet, and I started a weight program, a weightlifting program. So I originally started with Medi's Stronglifts 5x5, and that worked really well for me. I finished the program, although I consider myself to be an intermediate lifter. I wanted to start with that program anyways, just to kind of build my strength back up and get my numbers where I wanted them to be. So I started back a couple weeks after I started to change my diet into the gym. I started it back in January, and I can post, I guess right here, what my stats were as far as when I started, when it comes to you know, the big lifts that follow Stronglifts. So let's start with that, okay? So Stronglifts 5x5 is a very simple program to build strength. It's very similar to Repeto's starting strength, but the premise is getting your strength up with compound exercises 3 times a week, okay? So you've got lifting sessions on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and in each one of those days, you have an A workout or a B workout, okay? So on week 1, you might do on Monday A, Wednesday B, Friday A. And then the next week, you'd shift that to do workout B on Monday, workout A on Wednesday, and workout B on Friday. So what I did was I followed that program, and it consists of workout A is going to be squatting, which you do every time you go to the gym, overhead press, military press, and then deadlift. With deadlift, it's a little bit different because of how the exercise is so taxing on your body. You do your warm-up sets like everything else. Never ever lift your working sets without warming up. That's a recipe for disaster. But once you get your warm-up sets done with deadlift, you're going to do 1 set of 5 at your heavy weight. Workout B is then going to be squat, bench press, and then rows. I prefer pendlay rows. The difference is with a regular row, you're standing up and you kind of hold the weight the whole time, and then you kind of do your rowing motion. The pendlays are bent over with the weight on the floor, dead, and then you explosively pull it up to your chest and set it back down. That way you're engaging all your muscles really quickly for a heavier lift. I believe in that. It's gotten my back a lot stronger, but that is the program that I have been following so far. And the premise is every single time you do an exercise, you add 5 pounds. So I started pretty low, like you saw in the stats before. Over the course of, I followed it for 10 weeks. Over the course of 10 weeks, I got my starting stats, which again are right here, up to my finishing sets, which I'll put right here. So as you can see, I got noticeably stronger. I could start to see not so much definition, but I could tell that my muscles were getting bigger. I got a lot of weight to lose for real definition to show. But as you can see in the picture that I'm going to show you right now, I have definitely changed. I've lost my my apron. I guess I heard that term the other day and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Yeah, the belly overhang, the apron. I've lost a lot of my apron, but I've got a lot of work to go. Okay, so sorry I got off track a little bit there. So in addition to those working sets, the 5x5 kind of, you know, the big five, really. You know, you've got your, like I said, squat, bench, deadlift, row, and press. So 5x5 with your big five is what you're focusing on. All right. I added in a little bit of supplemental exercise with those. I did biceps and triceps every time I went to the gym as well, because I wanted to build those cosmetic muscles up a little bit better. They are important, but you know, everybody always focuses on the arms. And then I also do I do rows every time I go to the gym too, because I think that a stronger back and shoulders is more impressive to me than biceps and triceps. Anyways, that is what I started with, was the Stronglifts 5x5 program. What I've done now, because like I told you, I considered myself to be an intermediate lifter, what I've done now is moved on to the intermediate / advanced version of 5x5. Again, it's called Mad Cow 5x5. It is a more vigorous program with emphasis on heavy days. My heavy days are on Friday, but basically you've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday split. Wednesday is going to kind of be a lower day. I'm still doing squats every time I go. And then as I progress throughout the weeks, those squats will fall off so that I can focus on getting my numbers up a lot higher. So it's supposed to be a very vigorous program as far as strength goes. Right now I am in week 3 of Mad Cow 5x5, which I can show you right here where I'm at. These are my numbers right along here. And I can post like a Google Doc of the spreadsheet that I'm following. That way you can see how easy it is and how laid out it is. Let's talk next about how I'm tracking all this. It is super tedious to have a spreadsheet or print something out and write everything down every single time you go to the gym. If you're like me, I tend to forget because I've got 1.5 million other things on my mind that, you know, I just can't remember every single number. So what I used for the Stronglifts 5x5 beginner program, there's an excellent app that's called, go figure, Stronglifts 5x5. Looks like this in the App Store, the Google Play Store, whatever you use, Android or iPhone Master Race. And then I use that, and it's really excellent because it will walk you through the program. It tracks your workouts. It tells you what weight to do next. It even tracks your rest time. Like, okay, your 90 seconds are up. Time for your next set. Let's go. And then if you fail an exercise, the app recognizes that, so that next time you go to the gym, you'll use the weight that you failed on as your working set. Failure is part of the game, right? Okay, nobody's expected to be perfect every single time. So if you fail, that's okay. Just keep calm, move on, and you're going to get it next time. The app I'm using now, which is, I think, even better, is called Stronger with a U. It looks like this, again, in the iPhone App Store or the Google Play Store. I really like it because you're able to search other people's programs that they've put into the Stronger app. They've logged their workouts and kind of set up all the logic and automation for the application itself, and that way you just search the workout and load it, and then you're good to go. So like I said, I'm following the Mad Cow. It's loaded in that database right here in my phone, and it tracks all my progress. It has kind of a cool feature that asks you, what are your goals? Do you want to be, this, or this? And it kind of has like a strength and then a bodybuilding index built into it that shows you with your strength, your body weight, your body fat percentage, where do you fall alongside of what the stereotypical or standards are for what they classify as, I think they call them like gym champ, town champ, city champ, state champ, national champ, and then it's cool. I really like it. But yeah, that is what I'm using, and this all these tracking tools that I'm using, like I said, it's an easier way to get the tedious parts of working out to be a little bit easier, right? Like I said, writing things down or even putting it in your phone in like Notepad or like I used Evernote for a little while, it can become a bit annoying, and that's kind of, I'm sure it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. It was just a little, a little pain point. A lot of people don't like to do that, and that might just be another reason why you've fallen off the train or haven't gone back to the gym because of how tedious that can be. But remember, nothing good comes easy, and anything that you want to achieve, you should have to work hard for. You'll feel a lot better, and there's going to be a lot of pain along the road, growing pains, right? So one last thing I want to say, remember, with those growing pains, it's the pain now or it's the pain later.